As somebody following this channel, I'm sure you want more from life. I'm also convinced that you have come across a lot of creators that highlight what the rich and successful do differently. 5 a.m. morning routines, mindset shifts, and productivity hacks. While many of these habits and tricks do contain value, for me personally, they are part of a bigger picture. The tip of the iceberg are the visible results that everyone can see. The mid of the iceberg is a lot of continuous hard and smart work. But what is at the bottom of the iceberg, the foundation of all? I'm Manu Marcel Moronov. I have built a global life and career across 7 countries so far. Long-term thinking and a strategic approach to life helped me tremendously. Now I'm sharing my knowledge with others. But now back to the bottom of the iceberg. I repeatedly asked myself this question, studied the topic, and developed a model that describes how those who raised to the higher echelons of society design their individual and family lives and assets in a strategic and systematic approach. I named this model the House of Life. What I found is that the principle how the rich and successful manage company, assets, and trust can be transferred to how ordinary people like you and me can not only manage our assets but also our lives. If you're not born into the 0.1% of society but have the ambition to make the most out of the opportunity given, you can use the House of Life as a blueprint to develop your life strategically. As the name indicates, the model is shaped like a house with a roof and various staircases which also act as the structural pillars and a multi-layered foundation. Let's start with the big picture first, represented by the roof. In a corporate or family office setting, this would be the holding company. In my model, it's a bit more abstract and can be freely adjusted to your life values and priorities. Sounds confusing? Bear with me. If you're interested into identifying your life values, I made a separate video about this topic. The link should come up here. But now back to our roof. It could represent anything that transcends your existence. For example, it could include your purpose, your legacy and impact, or your inheritance, or anything else that is important to you, but is also bigger than yourself. For an environmentalist, this could include preventing the collapse of our ecosystem because of climate change. For an AI entrepreneur, this could mean to contribute to the singularity event and building a profitable business, leveraging technology. For a family-oriented mother or father, this could mean providing for their kids and making sure they enjoy a good life. But all of them carry the element of being bigger than oneself. While life goals might be part of the roof, they are an additional add-on but not the main content. Now that the roof is established, let's move one level down. The next level is represented by staircases, which also represent the structural pillars of the house. All staircases stabilize and feed into the roof. These staircases represent different causes and activities that you invest time, energy, and resources into. The staircases are not static but in constant change in terms of their quantities and their importance. The bigger one staircase, the higher its importance in your life in a particular moment or period in your life. It is important to understand that importance in this context is highly subjective and shaped by many influences, for example, your personality and environment. There is not a clear right or wrong, except if it's clearly outside the thresholds of human morality. Most inner conflicts arise from either not knowing your priorities or accepting priorities that feel untrue to you due to societal, familiar, or economic pressures. Each staircase has various levels representing sub-activities that contribute to the staircase, respectively the cause and activity it represents. Let me use an example to make it clearer. Chances are high that you, same as me, went through the schooling and academic system to be prepared for a profession, training for a job, and gaining some form of certification in form of a college or university degree as the official entry ticket to the labor market. Now imagine that your professional career represents one staircase. Remember the levels I mentioned earlier? Imagine this as the staircase of a semi-detached house. The staircase has an opening on every floor of the house. You are figuratively walking up the stairs, stopping on every level to pick up important contributions that you then deliver to the roof. Sticking with the example of a professional career as an employee, the first levels are your education, which also double acts as the entrance ticket to the professional world. But this is only a foot in the doorstep. The real work in the real world has just started. You climb one level up. You are actively engaged in the workforce and you are faced with problems that need solving, and you are required to deliver results. These results are monitored, documented and managed on the next level. Here everything is about quantification and KPIs. Soon you need to ascend to the next level and invest again in your skills through lifelong learning. Maybe you go back to school to pursue an MBA, or you do a bootcamp on artificial intelligence. Then on the next level again, you begin to understand the importance of visibility. Do good and talk about it. This also helps you in mastering the next stage, your ability to sell and negotiate. And finally, you reach the level of strategic networking. And I spare you the overused quote about the network and the net worth again. I'm pretty sure you already got it. By now you might ask yourself, fair enough, but what does this have to do with the asset and estate management of the rich and powerful? The rich and powerful manage their estates like companies. Each of the level described above represents one department or function within a corporate structure. Your education and training are the organizational development department. The level of problem solving and delivering results is operations. The finance department is represented by the tracking and managing of KPIs. The one that focuses on the visibility is marketing. The level that is all about selling yourself and your ideas for the best price is sales. The final level of strategic networking is the public relations or advocacy department, sometimes also referred to as lobbying. Same as a company needs to perform in all departments to be successful long-term, a successful career requires that you pay attention to all of these levels and excel in them. And while you grow within a corporate structure, different levels' respective importance shift. For example, standing out with hard work and going the extra mile helps you to advance in your early career. Once you reach mid-level, you need to adjust your focus if you wish to grow further. There's one part that unifies 99.9% of us people. One of our most time-demanding staircases is employment. In average, we spend at least 50% of our wake time invested in this staircase. Even more if you consider commute or the increasing workload of senior roles. The staircase includes both your first part-time and summer job, for example, cleaning your neighbor's car, as well as a profession you choose later on. For the latter, the term career has been coined. Though the sophistication level of the value you provide typically increases over time, the underlying principle of value exchange remains the same, no matter if you are a janitor or a senior executive. It's time and value against money. How much money is determined by the value you add and the price you can demand in the employment market. The latter varies across the salary differentials for the same function across geographies. For example, a senior accountant in the United States, Switzerland or Norway will always demand a bigger paycheck than his counterparts in other parts of the planet with lower wage levels, all other aspects remaining equal. The higher in the corporate hierarchy, the more emphasis shifts from attendance to output and results. That's why the quarter results of a Fortune 500 company is more important than their CEO's work hours. If complex bonus schemes or equity in form of company shares enter the equation, the balance shifts from quick and assured but capped rewards in form of a salary to long-term rewards expressed in shares with higher risk and opportunity profile. Naturally, the staircase to the CEO looks very different from the one prioritizing a 4-day week with a bigger emphasis on work-life balance. Both staircases attract different personality types who derive meaning and purpose from different aspects in life. The staircase to a corporate executive level is much bigger and will dominate all other staircases in terms of size and importance in this particular life. It is a lifelong venture that demands many sacrifices in other parts of life without the guarantee for success. This route will reward a particular personality type with meaning and purpose, while somebody else might view a job solely as a mean to an end, to fund his or her life and derive meaning from other sources in life. It is not about judgment. Neither path is better or worse. It is just different. Every choice has consequences that you must understand to make the best decision for yourself. But that's only one staircase. What about the other staircases? Remember when I told you that the number and size, respectively importance of each staircase varies as your life progresses? Most people have other staircases in their house of life. The most common ones are personal interests or hobbies, engagement in clubs, non-profits, or religious institutions, as well as community work. Then there are those staircases which are more seldom: side gigs, personal projects, investments, and the like. Building and nurturing more staircases is always a smart move, since it makes your house of life more robust. If one staircase collapses, you still have the others and the house stays intact. All these staircases contribute to the bigger life picture represented by the roof, aka holding. Some staircases might provide monetary means, while others are of recreational, health, or social significance. These 3 or 4 pillars are where most people stop, and that is totally fine if that's what you want. The top 0.1% have a different mindset though. The professional career and employment is never the end, but an avenue to learn skills and grow resources that can be applied and scaled somewhere else. That's where the construction of more staircases come into play. Any additional staircase could stand for an activity, venture, or asset that generates value. As mentioned before, the value can come in many different shapes and forms: a product or service, but also of more personal value, such as fulfillment, joy, recognition, and influence. For some of these staircases, aka the ventures, the marketplace is willing to pay a certain price. The most common example is the side hustle, a concept that became much more popular in the modern gig economy. Another examples are investments into assets whose value appreciate or generate cash flow, most referred to as passive income. Although anybody who is in the privileged position to hold such assets know that ownership comes with obligation. But that's a different story. The same goes for board seats, a common income diversification tool for successful executives in their later stages of their careers. And most importantly, the staircases could represent companies owned by you or your family at some point in your life. The similarity between your original staircase, representing your career as an employee, and all the other staircases is that at all levels, aka departments within that staircase, you need to work at least decently to guarantee long-term success. You might have been extremely successful in your job, but once you start the construction of another staircase, you once again need to learn the craft and invest time and resources into excelling in all the different levels, respectively departments. For example, you discovered running as a new hobby. The HR department stands for your ability to learn the theoretical aspects of the sport. The operations stand for the progressive training regime that you need to follow, while the finance department stands for tracking your running matrices such as duration, distance, average speed, or inclination in combination with your vitals coming from your variable. The marketing, sales, and advocacy departments represent your ability to showcase your progress, if you wish so, get engaged in running communities, and influence key opinion leaders in these areas, if you wish so. The same applies for any other staircase you want to add to your life. For example, you want to build a business actively or invest passively. In both cases, to be successful, you literally need to understand the whole, for example, the business or investment, as well as the various parts represented by the various departments. With each pillar you build, you diversify your life. Not much different in principle from the wealthy family managing their family estates. Just the scope and the scales vary. How much you want to diversify is in your own hands. The more you diversify while ensuring that each staircase gets enough sufficient attention to do its part in supporting the roof, the more robust will be your house of life. If one staircase gets shaky or even collapses, the other staircases will stand and support the roof. On the other hand, building and sustaining additional pillars demand energy and focus. Especially the building phase is demanding. Going all in on one staircase while neglecting the others for a while might be worth the sacrifice to you if it fits your long-term plan, your personality, and matches your life phase. Potential outcome should also outweigh the struggle and risk. Think of the young, ambitious entrepreneur or careerist that has no responsibilities besides the venture or job and him or herself. And now compare this to the completely different life situation of heading a family of 4, a big house, a mortgage, and a dog. While you sharpen your methodological skill set with the construction of every new staircase, the price for progress in your life is the ongoing willingness and ability to embrace new starts and once again be a beginner. This consequently comes with an unpleasant emotional experience, such starting from scratch and feeling inadequate. On the other hand, it grounds you and strengthens your humility. It is especially important if one life staircase is heavily overrepresented, which usually is accompanied by equal high levels of success. A deliberate, self-induced humbling can do wonders in balancing out the inevitable ego boast, for example, by learning a new skill or starting a new project or business in a field which is unfamiliar to you. There is no one way of building your house of life because there are highly subjective decisions to take. But understanding the dynamics is key. 2 parameters are essential: time or timing and energy. We all have a certain capacity of energy. You might also call it focus. By nature, it's a spectrum. Some of us have more, others have less, but there are biological upper and lower ends to it. You can only have so much energy in your life bucket. You must decide where to invest your energy and focus, because where focus goes, progress comes. The other component is time, or better, timing. We all travel in different speeds and trajectories through life. This means you cannot and should not compare your position at a specific point in time to somebody else. Your chapter 1 might be somebody's chapter 5. Now that you understood the different staircases, let's look at the foundation. It can contain multiple layers. For me personally, the following 2 layers are the most important ones. The first summarizes family and relationships. They span across all our ventures and activities in life and either add or subtract from them, depending how things are going. The lowest level of the foundation is health. The reason why health is at the base of the foundation is simple. Good health is a requirement for the ability to succeed with anything else in our house of life. Without good health, you will not be able to provide for your family, pursue projects, or enjoy your passions. You might ask yourself by now, what does this have to do with how the rich and powerful manage their holdings and ventures? I will share with you 3 similarities. First, the rich are always on the lookout for building up new staircases, aka ventures that expand or protect their financial assets, sphere of influence, or public perception. They are aware that old staircases might become obsolete, are not afraid to abandon them if necessary, and understand the importance of diversification for multi-generational asset planning. Second, the rich are aware that they need to direct their limited energy and focus. Once a new staircase is established, they build up management systems and governance structures to automate as much as possible. This allows them to free up energy and focus on new ventures, supporting growth and diversification. Third, the rich actively diversify their assets to protect against general downturn and industry-specific disruptions. They set this up in a way that the different staircases, aka ventures, are mostly independent from each other. This prevents cluster risk, where the collapse of one becomes systemic, threatening the whole estate. So far, so good for the theory. But how to turn all of this into action? Even if you're not born into wealth, you can benefit from a strategic approach to life. The principles of multi-generational family estate planning also work for normal people like you and me. In summary, the House of Life emphasizes to gain clarity about your causes you want to contribute that are larger than yourself, represented in the roof. Then you develop the staircases that support the roof by optimizing every level of the staircases, which represents the different departments. You do this by allocating your limited time and focus strategically and under consideration of your phases in life. Once a staircase is established, you improve efficiency through the implementation of structures and processes that allow a high degree of automation. This frees up time and energy to focus on the development of additional staircases that will add to the diversity of your life, make you more resilient, and in the long term provide you with more resources to make a positive impact in your life for the causes that matter to you. You must understand that what brought you to your current state is not what will bring you to the next. You need to fight the human tendency of complacency. You constantly must reinvent yourself and your ventures, embrace change, and adjust to new technological, geopolitical, and societal developments while investing in your skills and network. The foundation of your house of life is made of relationships and health. It spans across all pillars or staircases of your life. Esther Perel, Belgian author and psychoanalyst, describes it as follows: the quality of our life is determined by the quality of our relationships. Even more fundamental is health. It is the enabler of anything else in life. German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer described it concisely: health is not everything, but without health, everything is nothing. How do you find this model? Let me know in the comments. If you would like to get a ready-to-go House of Life blueprint, comment House of Life and I will send it over. If you found this content useful, follow and subscribe for more. I share practical tips to build a fulfilling global life and career.